You know that feeling?
Yeah.
You realize you've been holding tension in your shoulders for maybe an hour. Or you look at your calendar and a whole week has just vanished in a complete blur.
Oh, absolutely.
We live in this world that's just defined by chasing variables.
Yeah.
You know, the perfect trip, the next promotion.
The ideal set of conditions that will finally let us feel at peace.
Exactly.
And that chase, it creates this dangerous illusion. It tells us that fulfillment or even just restoration is always somewhere else.
Right, it's waiting for the vacation. Or for your inbox to hit zero, which, I mean, let's be honest.
Never gonna happen.
Never. But today, we're diving into a concept from a really fascinating collection of sources that just completely flips that script. It introduces what one of them calls the unwavering constant in a life of endless variables.
And this constant, this unshakable truth is that you can always find enjoyment, find restoration in your immediate environment.
Yes.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really synthesize that core argument that the deepest enjoyment of your surroundings is, well, it's always accessible. It just requires one thing.
Attention.
We're going to walk you through how we accidentally tune the world out and then explore the very specific, practical, sensory anchors that this material gives you to tune back in.
When most people hear the word environment, I think their mind just immediately goes to the grand scale.
For sure.
You think pristine wilderness, a mountain vista.
A perfect beach sunset, nature with a capital N.
Exactly.
And that's really the first conceptual hurdle we have to clear. This material defines environment not as some far-off natural paradise, but simply as everything that's surrounding you at this very moment.
Everything.
It is the stage upon which your life unfolds.
Love that phrase. So if you're sitting on a crowded subway, that's your environment. If you're staring at a beige office wall,
that's your environment. So we're talking about like the subtle way light and shadow fall across your desk, or the hum from your computer you always try to ignore, or even the slight, almost undetectable change in air pressure when someone walks past your door. It is wherever you are right now, not where you wish you were.
Okay, let's unpack this core mechanism because it feels pretty counterintuitive.
It absolutely is. The core mechanism is realizing that enjoying the environment is not a passive state you just fall into.
Yeah.
It's an active exercise.
An active exercise and awareness.
Right. We've been taught to think we just sort of soak in our surroundings. But the modern brain, it's a highly, highly efficient filtering machine.
A filtering machine that's designed for, survival and getting things done, right? Like, if I'm focused on a really complex task, my brain should be filtering out the sound of a lawnmower outside. Isn't that a good thing?
It is efficient for task completion, but it's detrimental for restoration. The material points out that our mental energy is overwhelmingly dedicated to three things: screens, our internal dialogue of planning and worrying, and most importantly here, filtering out what we decide is non-essential sensory data.
So we tune out anything that doesn't immediately advance a goal or signal a danger.
Precisely.
That's a fascinating inversion. We think we're overwhelmed by the world, but actually we're spending massive cognitive effort trying to reduce the world's input.
Exactly. And in doing that, we miss what one of the psychologists in this research calls the dense, sheer reality of the world pressing in.
Wow.
Think of it this way. The sensory data all around you is described as a continuous, unsolicited gift. It's just constantly being offered. It doesn't ask for payment. It doesn't ask for a response. It's just there.
It's like being surrounded by a constant flow of fresh water, but you're so focused on reading the manual for a filter you don't even need that you never actually stop to take a drink.
What a perfect analogy. When you stop filtering, you start receiving. That's the shift. The problem isn't that the environment is boring. The problem is that our internal story is overriding the reality outside.
We're substituting the actual world for our idea of what the world should be.
Yes. If you want a quick takeaway from this whole section, it's this. The first step is realizing that you have to stop doing the world and just start receiving it.
That makes perfect sense. So, if the challenge is shifting our awareness from that internal noise to the external reality, how do we do that? This is where the practical instruction comes in. The source material gives us these beautiful, simple anchor points.
And these anchors, they're the practical tools. They're reliable elements of reality that ground you almost instantaneously. They pull your attention away from abstract worries and into the physical, here and now world.
Let's start with the most essential one. Anchor number 1, the air, the invisible medium.
We take air completely for granted, don't we? Which is ironic because it's the most foundational thing connecting us to the world. It is the invisible medium that literally sustains you.
And the instruction is deceptively simple.
It is. Don't just breathe, notice the air.
So what specifically are we noticing? The temperature.
It's temperature, the subtle weight of it against your skin, maybe the faintest scent, or the way the still air in a room feels different from a slight draft coming from under a door. We're moving the experience of air from a background function to a forefront sensation.
One of the connections the material draws here is fantastic. It links the simple act of breathing deeply to the shared atmosphere.
It does. And it emphasizes that breathing isn't just an internal function, it's an exchange. You are literally connecting your inner state directly to this vast shared atmosphere outside.
That's a profound thought.
It is. It's a foundational reality that is always reliable, always there for you. It's a moment of kind of physical humility, realizing you're sustained by this huge invisible force that asks for nothing but your participation.
And that connection offers instant enjoyment because it transcends your personal problems, doesn't it? My anxiety doesn't change the fact that the atmosphere exists and supports me.
Precisely. It's a truth that grounds you in a reality much, much larger than your to-do list.
Okay, so moving from the invisible to the tangible, anchor number 2 focuses on texture.
Right. This is where we get what the sources call instantaneous feedback. The advice is to run your fingertips across surfaces. Think about the roughness of an unfinished wooden table, or the slick coolness of your coffee mug.
Or the intricate weave of the fabric on your chair.
Exactly.
I love that phrase, instantaneous feedback, because it cuts off all the intellectual commentary. You touch it, you feel it, there's no room for analysis, it's just pure input.
That immediacy is the whole key. And the deeper insight here is about tapping into a kind of primal comfort.
Primal comfort.
Yeah. We live in such a digitized world where so many of our interactions are through screens or abstract ideas. But touching a solid object reminds you viscerally that you are a solid being in a solid world.
There's a reassurance in that.
A profound reassurance. The knowledge that this desk, this wall, this floor, they hold their shape. They aren't fleeting thoughts. They are real.
Let me offer a challenge here, though, because that sounds lovely if you're touching polished marble or soft silk. But what if your environment is, purely synthetic? The cheap, rough plastic of a keyboard or a slightly scratchy institutional chair. How's that enjoyable?
That's a crucial point. The enjoyment doesn't come from the beauty of the object, but from the quality of attention you bring to the texture. Even cheap plastic has a texture. It might be slightly slick or have a faint ridge from the molding process.
Or it might feel warmer than the metal screw next to it.
Exactly. The simple act of observation, without judgment, transforms the mundane. It confirms reality. The material says the enjoyment is found not in the object's virtue, but in its objectivity.
That reframes everything. It's not about finding something beautiful to touch. It's about touching something and just recognizing its reality.
You got it. It stabilizes the internal chaos. So, okay, we've grounded ourselves through the foundation, which is air, and the immediate touch of texture. The third anchor is about embracing the activity of the environment, the soundscape.
This is often the hardest one. Sound is the thing we most actively filter out. I mean, it's the very definition of a distraction in most modern settings.
It is. We label the hum of traffic or the neighbor's phone call or the air conditioning unit as noise that interferes with our work. But the crucial instruction here is a kind of mental judo flip. Don't label the sounds as distractions. Receive them as information.
Okay, give me an extreme scenario. I'm in my apartment and there's a construction site next door. A jackhammer. How on earth do I stop resisting that?
The resistance comes from the internal judgment. This sound is preventing me from doing X. When you remove that judgment and just receive the jackhammering as pure sonic data, you start to hear its components.
Its components?
Yeah, you hear the rhythm, the varying pitch of the engine, the delay as the sound echoes off the buildings nearby.
So instead of being just noise, it becomes the context, the reality of the environment.
It becomes information. The material suggests that when you stop resisting the soundscape and just receive it, you find this complex, effortless symphony playing just for you. The chirping bird is telling a story. The distant traffic is the rhythm of modern life.
You're simply listening to the architecture of the environment.
Exactly. You find this complex beauty in the simple fact that all these disparate sounds exist at the same time without needing your approval or your analysis.
When you put it that way, it shifts from being an irritating invasion to being just contextual data about where and when you are. And that acceptance, that seems like the first step to the real payoff.
It is. And that transition from mental resistance to sensory reception is profoundly restorative. This isn't just a feel-good exercise. There are measurable benefits to the nervous system.
Let's talk about that. Why should you, the listener, care beyond just feeling a little calmer for a moment?
Because the payoff isn't frivolous, it's fundamental. The material stresses that when we fully engage these sensory anchors, our nervous system calms down. Because we are no longer fighting the flow of reality. We're not at war with the world anymore.
And when that happens,
We find that the constant, high-pressure internal narrative begins to soften.
that internal narrative, the anxiety, the pressure, the noise of doing, we spend our whole lives trying to manage that by changing external conditions. We assume the stress is coming from the outside.
And the sources flip that assumption on its head. They contain this incredibly liberating insight that the pressure, the anxiety, the noise of doing often comes from within, not from the world itself.
Wow.
The world, in its silent objectivity, is just offering its existence. It's not demanding that you be stressed.
If I really pause and take that in, the only thing demanding my anxiety is my own planning and worry. The world outside is just existing. The sun is shining, the air is moving, the surface is cool. That realization is like instant permission to just rest.
It is. The world is objectively stable in its existence, and when you tune into that, you borrow that stability.
Right.
This whole enjoyment thing, then, it becomes an exercise in what the sources call gratitude for the given. It requires nothing of you.
No purchase, no plan, no travel.
Nothing except your attention.
And that speaks directly to the accessibility of this practice. It's why they describe it as being democratically distributed.
It is pure, accessible beauty. You don't need money or status or a perfect plan to appreciate the intricate design of a crack in the pavement or the changing color of the light reflecting off a wall.
There's that powerful example in the material about the sunset.
Right. The sunset is happening for everyone, regardless of their circumstances.
That detail really lands the message perfectly. The sunset doesn't check your bank balance before it puts on a show. It just underscores that the most complex, beautiful, reality-affirming experiences are utterly free.
They're not gated by effort or economics. They're only gated by our willingness to open our senses.
This entire perspective is basically a manual for finding peace. Not through these elaborate escape plans, but just through radical presence.
We're constantly searching for ways to log off or get away from our environment, but this philosophy suggests that the inexhaustible source of stability we're looking for, it's already surrounding us. It's ready the instant we decide to stop filtering and start receiving.
And that's the simple truth to carry with you, like a little stone in your pocket. Wherever you are surrounded by an endless supply of reality, an endless, inexhaustible source of peace and restoration, delivered completely free of charge.
And if we connect that foundational concept back to the bigger picture, it raises a key question for you, the listener, to maybe explore over the coming days.
Okay.
If the anxiety and the pressure truly come from within, and the world outside is objectively stable and completely free to access, what does that realization do to your need for control?
I think that's the ultimate deep dive, exploring the freedom that comes when you just let the world exist for you. Thank you for sharing these sources and taking this deep dive with us.
It was a pleasure to unpack such a powerfully restorative perspective.
We'll see you next time.